Hi team, we're looking at solving quadratic equations. And remember, a quadratic equation has the highest variable exponent of 2. Nice little polynomial there. The 5 ways are graphing, and this way can be messy if you've got a lot of graphing to do and they're not exact values. The second way is the square root method, but this only works if you only have a squared value, but you don't have the x term. In other words, it's just x squared and there's no other variable. We also have completing the square. This is, can be messy, but always works. We have factoring method, but this is only if factorable. And last but not least, we have the quadratic formula. This guy always works. So we're going to go over those 5 different methods today. So first of all, when we're graphing, when we're solving for a quadratic set equal to 0, remember that's like saying the f of x is 0, that output value. So we're finding the zeros or the x-intercepts. So again, when we're trying to solve a quadratic set equal to 0, it depends on how many x-intercepts we have as to how many solutions we can have. So I know we looked at this earlier. If we've got one like this, it is possible to have 2 solutions to the equation because we have 2 x-intercepts. If the parabola only touches the x-axis and bounces off, then it's possible to have only 1 solution. And if the parabola opens up away from the axis and doesn't cross the axis at all, then we have no solution. So in this next example, we're going to use the graphing method by graphing this example on our calculator and finding the zeros. So if we plug in that equation, we would get x squared minus x minus 6. And then if we hit graph, ta-da, we get this guy right here. So again, we're not looking for the vertex this time. We're looking for where the function equals 0. So it looks like if it hits straight on, it looks like we're at -2 and 3. But if you're unsure, we can always go to calculate. So second function trace, we want to calculate the zeros, and then we follow the instructions here on the left. If we try to find this left 0, we're going to move the cursor left bound, enter, to the right of that 0, enter, ask it to guess, and it is in fact at -2. And then we can do the same thing to this other side, but it does in fact look like it's at 3. If you're not sure, you can also plug in -2 into that original equation, see if you do in fact get 0, and plug in 3 into the original equation, see if you do in fact get 0. And if so, those are your 2 solutions.
Now, if you're using Desmos.com, you can choose the graphing calculator and click on this first line here and type in your equation that you're working with. It's -6, x squared minus x minus 6. And it will graph the parabola for you. And you can always move around if you're not seeing everything, or increase or decrease. But if you notice, when you graph it, you can actually click anywhere on the graph and it will show up all of the important points for that graph. So if you know that you're solving it, that means the y equals 0. So the x value would be -2. That's at your x-intercepts, and over here on the other side as well, your zeros or x-intercepts are here at 3, 0.
So from that graph, we got 2 solutions of -2 and 3.